Hey everybody, James Somerton is a plagiarist and I like movies. And today I'm talking about the brand new Godzilla movie out of Toho Studios, Godzilla Minus One. So, Godzilla, our big G, the big heckin' chonker, doesn't really need any introduction at this point. He's turning 70 years old next year, which is very exciting. And I think that's sort of what brought Toho to create this new Godzilla movie that I had heard a lot of word of mouth about, it being like not just a good Godzilla movie, but one of those Godzilla movies that's like trying to capture the same spirit of the original 54 Godzilla with it's like really focusing on the humanity and the drama of the people, that the people are really good in this. And you're a little skeptical of that because every so often you kind of at least want that out of a big kaiju movie. And sometimes you get that, and sometimes you get something like Godzilla King of the Monsters from I think it was 2019, where all the kaiju shit is amazing, but the human characters are absolutely insufferable and really bring the movie down. And it really sucks for that movie. But nevertheless, I went in and absolutely the word of mouth was right. This is not just one of the best Godzilla movies we've had in a while. It might be one of the best Godzilla movies ever made, and certainly one of the biggest surprises of the year. This is a absolutely fantastic blockbuster, and it's kind of the kinds of blockbuster that we all really want for. It delivers these big sweeping spectacles that you only really want to see in the theater, you're so invested in the humanity of it all. So it almost feels like a sort of kind of soft reboot where it's set during right when the war ends. So it's post World War II Japan, and it follows a number of characters. It's a kind of an ensemble, but our main character, Shikishima, is a former fighter pilot, a former kamikaze pilot, but he did not do any kamikazing, which leads to a lot of shame and guilt. And then when he goes back home in Tokyo, it's soon after the dust settled from the Tokyo fire bombings. It's in the country's in bad shape, and both his parents have passed away in the bombing, and then a girl, Noriko, just kind of shows up like a stray cat, and she has a baby too, and they just kind of hang around each other, and they just sort of become this sort of adopted family of sorts. Or they're not technically married or anything, but they form a very sweet bond. And he gets a job, and then eventually Shikishima gets a job working on a boat with a crew where they're clearing landmines from the war. And that crew it's immediately endearing characters. You have the boat captain, who's this kind of tougher older guy. There's a younger man who didn't serve in the military, but he's younger than Shikishima, so he's kid. And then we have our smart man, who is Doc. He's glasses. He's a genius. He's the guy you obviously would call Doc. And then also there's Godzilla sometimes. And what's so fascinating about this is that the way it's structured in how the monster, how seeing Godzilla and how Godzilla's impact makes you feel. It reminds the first part of the movie is it owes a lot to Jaws. It's as if you had Jaws, but then your Chief Brody is having nightmares about the shark, and the shark is a giant 60-something foot dinosaur monster, and man, I got it. And it's so powerful, and it's honestly very powerful about how it feeds into a lot of the themes of and a lot of the feelings of the characters, and it is in that spirit of the original Godzilla, because this Godzilla and the human beings that are shaken by him is that Godzilla is representative of all the cultural anxieties that Japan was feeling at the time, whether it's nuclear fallout or just the sheer devastation of World War II, losing World War II that bad, or it's the middling bureaucracy of the Japanese government, and just like being forgotten. And in here, there's so much mourning. It's a mournful movie. It's a very sad movie that like lingers so hard of death and regret of like how can I keep living on after so many have already died and so many have like given themselves up to die, like the soldiers who like served and died, and the citizens that you came home to find out that they died as well. How can I keep moving on forward with that, with all of that? And like Godzilla's presence here inspired it. There's such overwhelming dread. This is scary Godzilla, honestly. Like when he shows up in Tokyo in like the middle of the movie, it's like you really feel the fear of him, and you also feel the scale of him too. I always liked it when they like made Godzilla not only look big but feel big. Like every stomp, like shakes the ground. His like presence is like an absolute like radioactive disaster. Like is a walking nuclear fallout basically, and and the way Godzilla just like tears through and this movie also has a great applications of like the classic Godzilla themes, that bah, bah, bah. And then later with the actual true Godzilla theme, it's used so well, and it's it's a devastating movie, like emotionally brutal, and just the scale and scope and immensity, immeasurably powerful Godzilla is. Like the way he like just stands up, and like they made this great design of having his like spikes stick out of his back when he's like charging up his atomic breath. Which is just a great design. I absolutely want an action figure of that right now. Like just have him just standing right here next to me, and like his atomic breath is so powerful that it like sears and scars himself, which is rad as hell. Absolutely love that. So you get all this great Godzilla action, and like, but like it gets to a point where like, oh, I'm not having fun watching Godzilla destroy the city again. Oh no, I don't want it to be. I don't want to be here anymore. But like the sheer humanity, but like it all comes back to that humanity of it, because this is and the way that all the characters, all these very endearing characters, whether it's Shikishima and his crew, or Noriko, who's just an absolute sweetheart. This is a good there's criticism to be had about like women in Japanese media like not really having a lot of agency or like influence in the plot, but like they're always I think they always tend to have a good job of like characterizing them very well. Well, you do want to see them get out okay, and hopefully they can. And again, like with a lot of classic Godzilla, this is like you really want to root for the human beings and the way that they all come together, and the way they come together to like fight against Godzilla. Like the government, the Japanese military has nothing to do with this. They are off like dealing with some like Russian USA tension stuff that like there's like a reference to like Douglas MacArthur, who's like a real like Metal Gear Solid villain if you ever looked him up. They're like dealing with that stuff. So like the people themselves have to come together, form a camaraderie, and like face off against this great like insurmountable threat to hopefully, and maybe they may have to do some like bad things, but hopefully the cost will be worth it to secure their future. It's actually a surprisingly patriotic movie, not in the sense of like taking pride in one's government, but it's about taking pride and like coming together and fighting for your family, your neighbors, your country. That's what they mean by your country, or the people. That's what matters. That's the kind of patriotism that I love to see, and it's so well done. And then even with all that rousing with all that rousing, like, yes, let's go, let's do it. We got a plan, we do it. And like you get out and they commit to their plan to face Godzilla. Like it almost feels like could it work? And you get this big, you get more great Godzilla action. It actually feels like Dunkirk. I'm surprised how I'm honestly like really impressed and was really taken aback by not just like the big scale and action of it, but like how it like feeds back into its themes, and it's like the script is very well written. It's so like every person here matters, and it's so, and like they each get their arcs. They get a little bit of like plot relevancy, a lot of emotional relevancy. It's such a really well done script, and I honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, if you wind up getting emotional or even crying at this Godzilla movie, I would not blame you. This is a very good. This was such a surprise. I can't believe, like, I was so ready to like just, all right, I'm gonna watch this, and this. Those will probably end up on like the great big best movies of the year list. I did not see this movie coming. This was such a wonderful surprise. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Believe the word of mouth. The hype is real. Watch Godzilla Minus One. If you can catch it in IMAX, definitely catch it in IMAX. This is loud. It booms, and I also have to say it looks incredible for its budget. This was like made for like $15 million, which like there's probably a couple asterisks there because I don't exactly know how like how about like but how like budgeting might work differently under Japan contracts and unions and studios and stuff. And also, I wouldn't put it past Japanese studios to overwork and underpay their VFX artists the same way that American studios underpay and overwork their VFX artists. But regardless, for the scale that it is, the amount of things happening in this movie with the budget that it had, this is absolutely a feat. I feel like this director, I hope we see more from this director, who's I wish I wrote it down, and name is escaping me. I'll put it's in the description. I'll put it there. So yeah, absolutely, this is like top tier kaiju cinema. This was great. The Godzilla design was incredible. He's scary. He's really intimidating. The humanity is so emotionally is so wonderful. It's a very emotional movie. It might make you cry. Right? Wonderful script. Very endearing characters. I love all of these. I feel like if I had any few criticisms, there may be a couple like plot beats that might have I don't know if like a trimming is necessary or anything. And I felt like there was maybe like they were kind of leaning towards like this character revealed to be like another character from like Godzilla lore, but like I don't want to give too much away, but like kind of felt like they were going that way, and then they were, but then they weren't, or they would be like a reveal or something. But like I don't know, there was like it felt a little. It's kind of one of those like this is a soft reboot. I don't know how much of a reboot it is, or if I can really call it a reboot at all, or if it's just like doing Godzilla again, or I don't know. This is like, it's like just some like weird personal like the nitpicky of nitpicks I could give it. But yeah, absolutely go see this. This was absolutely worth your time. I'm confident that you will love this movie. I have few bad things to say this. I feel like this deserves a 9. Hell yeah. This movie's great, and please go see this movie. Go see all movies that are out, if any are out near you. I've got plenty to watch. I'll be watching a long one later off when I sign off. So yeah, please comment, like, subscribe. What did you think of Godzilla Minus One? What is your favorite Godzilla movie? Because there's a lot of good ones. There's even the Showa ones. Those are very charming when they're not being all goofy. Also, man, I gotta say, like, coming out of the theater for this movie, and then seeing the trailer for the Godzilla King Kong WrestleMania event that we're getting next year, it's kind of a cult. Ugh, it felt weird. Like, I don't know. It's like finishing Andor and then watching the trailer for Mandalorian season 3. Like, yeah, it'll probably be fun in parts, but like, I know, I'm not gonna like it as much as this because, like, man, this got me. This hit me. This is so good. Yes, please watch Godzilla Minus One. Bring your friends. Make it an event. Keep watching movies. Yeah, keep watching movies. See ya.